I'm sorry, I'm suffering from cold. My voice, huh?
You should know you can speak.
No problem. Basically, Alan, I want to talk about the petrol aspect. You understand? You made mention of that. You could not have it. Us could not have it as general citizens. You also made mention of Senegal. We see Senegal, when they are fast approaching to election, they are positive. One of their main agenda they were selling out was digging out information from the government, literally about their petrol. So right now, if you guys are going to say that, or if you are saying that any politician, or most of you people don't have the information, and the only thing that you can do is when government change, how do you expect us to go with that?
Well, this is the thing. We have information, enough information that we have, which is what we do our findings and have. I came here before and I told you about people who came to our office and said they have A block and so forth, right? He talked about, he knows more about, so we do have idea. But when you really want to know the whole truth, my dear, we are not privy to that as citizens. Even though I'm a politician, I'm a citizen. I'm not privy to that information. I cannot call Dr. Sisi and I need the information. If I go into the government today and said, as a politician, I want to know what's going on, they're not going to talk to me.
But you must have your means to generate it from them. That's
How?
what we expect from you people.
You are the journalist. No, you the journalist. You have the means to get that information for us, for the citizens of the Gambia. That's why you are a journalist. A journalist's work is to do investigative journalism. It is you to get that information. Me, I'm just a citizen that is standing as a politician to set the record straight. I have my information and I know what to do when elected to be able to get all what I need to get to the bottom of it. And all the Gambians will have access to that information because it is your right to have that access. Yes.
I just want to say that when Her Excellency mentions information, remember there are hard facts data that needs to be shared that can be evident. And your source of information, as much as you are a politician and can have inside information, there is a tendency of a shift in that information as it develops. My experience in the oil sector with the Gambia factually tells you that there is a discovery of blocks of oil, which is rigs, that have been identified on and offshore. So there are probably 6 in total, 4 offshore and 2 onshore. Now, if we go in depth to unveil all the information, which I will cite the ministers of energy who have been here and have convinced the former president and the current administration to go through certain negotiations and agreements, even having a company whose job is to explore and exploit oil. What does that tell you? There is a company called FAR. It's an Australian company, FAR Limited, right? They are what we call Purpose Service Vehicle Company. Purpose Service Vehicle Company means a smaller entity of a bigger company to take on contractual agreements on their behalf. So Petronas and Petronu are all part of those organizations that are the bigger companies, right? So if we are to dwell on the information individually, as you were explaining, Pastef used that because Pastef access to the information was the individuals were inside the government.
We were in the system before.
Right? These are the guys who have first-hand information because they were part and parcel of either the exploration process, the taxing of those, because there is a system, there is a way in terms of getting a rig in a country. The first is to even find out if it exists. Now, there's a lot of money involved to doing that. And the person or the company that will be buying that rig are not the one that are going to exploit it or explore it. They just have something that is said, there is a quantity of oil in there. They make an agreement with the owner, the country, and make that payment, right? And pledge that they will put a value to that rig to certain extra value. Meaning if they buy it for 10 bill, they will pledge that they will put a value, meaning they will do more extra research and how much they how deep you have to dig, what kind of equipments are required, what the time frames are, all of that it requires money. They said they will put that on, and then it will add the value from 10 bill to maybe 20, and then they will sell it to onward the actual company that will come and exploit it. Now you have to have a purpose service vehicle in order to cut corners. Cutting corners is where these irresponsible negotiations have been taking place. You will never find a company whose sole responsibility is to exploit oil and come and have an office here at Turntable at the Energy Ministry Energy's building without you having oil. It doesn't make sense. If it does, you tell me. But then we will explore when it comes to political information. We have the right information to share with the people about the oil, about the hospitals, about everything that concerns the Gambia.
Okay.
Make no mistake.
Yeah,
Just in
we
summary.
are not going to do, you see, today Senegal is going through the same problem. Pastef had made a lot of promises based on political talks. I don't do that. I am a woman, duma wax lo xamne duma dige te duma wax lo xamne awma ci lu óor waaye suma information bi nga xamne moom laa nekk di gaana dama ko gaana te xamne pare naa pour liggéey towards loolu when we hit the ground running. We advocate for 2 terms, even as an alliance. Listen, I am an independent candidate, right? Just like Adama Barrow. If I go into office today, 2026, I have zero right to open my political party because I didn't go there by myself. The alliance came together, which is the alliance of everybody in the country. They came together and they put me in that office. That is why I said to you, even my cabinet, I cannot choose for myself because I didn't go there by myself. So we will have an executive where people will apply and then we'll vet so that we can be all fair and in favor and put the people in there. The people it doesn't matter whether you are UDP, whether you are you were already in NPP, or whether you are no party, or whether you have been in, as long as you are in Gambia and you have the country at heart and you have experience, you can work with the candidate. Number 1. Number 2, 2 terms is more. 2 terms is more of what we want right now. I said to you earlier that the Alliance of Social Democrats, when in office, we are going to select leaders that have been here. Maybe the likes of Halifa Saleh, some elderly statespeople that have given their life. Even Ba Usaino, if he didn't make it through, which I don't pray he didn't. I'm not saying that he's not going to make it. UDP, please. He can be part of that executive. The executive boobu nonu moy indi ñi nga xamne ñep dañ am naka tudati xoli Gambia liggéey nañ xeex nañ sacrifice nañ lu bari ci dëkk bi pour Gambia dem kanam. Ñun buñ toogee man dinaa leen jox opportunity boobu ñu bokk ci li nga xamne ñun ñëppay toog di bind nag reforms yooyu pour mun a jël dëkk bi nag jox ko suñ ndaw yi parce que foog ñu jagar ko. liñ foogoon ne dafa waroon a am 2016 amut waaye mun naa amati in 2026 ma invite leen ñu nekk part of the executive di liggéey ak ñun ñu set reforms yooyu noonu bu ko defee dëkk bi am future loolu mooy mun a yóbbu dëkk bi kanam. first 5 years yi bu fekkee ne Marie Sock defut lim war a def, the alliance is a pressure group. That pressure group will like, Madam, your minister is not doing this. Your minister is not doing that. They will be sacked. Madam, you yourself, you're not doing. At that 5 years, I will be sacked. Because the alliance can say, no, she's not performing to our expectation. It is high time we look for somebody else. And Gambia has to learn to be able to do that until they have somebody who's ready to work. You see, and what that does, tell su fekkee ne man dama dugal ma ragal ne suma performute dinañ ma daa lan lay def dama liggéey because awma fenn fu ma wéeru awma political party awma ñi ñëpp kenn xawma leen suma minister yi xawma fan lañ jógee. What will we do? We will work, but I will make sure my ministers will work because what? If they don't work, they're gonna mess me up. So I don't want anybody to mess me up. So we will all have to perform and we will have no choice but to perform. And the ones telling him toggle, because what? Ragal nañ ne liñ miin duñ ko mus di amati. Because some of them have spoiled their career in the eyes of the Gambia. Some of them have completely damaged their career. So they already know their last bus stop is Adama Barrow. And they want to ride that bus another 5 years because of a nini yahu biñ jaaxa xëy na Adama Barrow gën a jegal ay yoon gën a jegal lu nekk nit ñi door di fàtte xam nga ñu door di yër because Gambia dafa am xol yërmande sa daw la toog nañ fii mu bugg a wàcce ñu ne ko dee toogal mu toog 30 years gannaaw si gannaaw ñëpp a ci sonn Zembi Jaay Jammeh ni bugg a wàcce ñu ne ko dee toogal gannaaw si bi ñëpp sonnee mu dem so su fekkee ne ñun mun nañ koo def sa daw dañu génnee ko ñu toog ñu génnee Yaay Jammeh then who are we not to be able to take the president out? Because you're 3 years go. You're just transitional. You may la because of the constitution 5 years la. Lolo kiko waxon moy ki nga xamne xaritam la papam la lawyer la mo waxon ne deet bu ko fi ken tuda lolu constitutional right am la Gambians yep nangul ko constitutional right am la mu def first 5 years legi mu demaat second 5 years ñepp votal ko mu dem xana legi nak Gambia njukal biñ ko wara jox nañ ko ba pare Gambia is not for sale Gambia lu mom moko mom ñun ñoko mom joxal na delo nañ la njukal bayyi nañ la fa ñu votalat la nga dugat bon ñoon def nañ liñ wara def xana bëggu leen ak genn ak seen cancete bu rafet genn fi ni mu nekk lo xamne dañ ko rax mu tabax ngeen cekes dem ba ci tali bi instead putting time in away tay yena ngi yep journalist di ngeen enu sen dala enu sen caméra yi enu yep tek ko sen bop because fi yep ngi am poto how many years 60 years and you call that independence now you talk about ECOWAS troops coming here from Nigeria for what for what these are the things that you guys have to do investigative journalists for what are we not peaceful bu dee dañoo dem guerre ñu wax ma dem jënd camouflage parce que man yeguma guerre bi fee nekk hey naxaate bi dafa bari dafa jeex so you have already asked 10 questions next
start from 2003 when I first brought an airline project. It was called Gam Air and it was a 10 million pound project which was equivalent to the Gambian GDP at the time. The ministries that aligned with that, Ministry of Communication, Information and Technology, Minister of Transport, Ministry of Energy, and the State House had created some so-called advisors to the president, all of whom were involved. Involved in that, an airline requires what we call an AOC, Air Operator Certificate. And the intention wasn't to get a certificate elsewhere to come and operate in the Gambia.
For the sake of
time, so the ministers that are involved, I will not name names, but not only the ministers. It is from GAIPA, which is the main body to, expand on projects and important export, to the ministries that are aligned with this. The latest one I mentioned, it was a health-related project, right? The minister has appointed us to meet weeks, months on end. We met some of the directorates. We met some of the directorates at the PPP, which is public-private partnership, or public-private partnership, and the Ministry of Finance. Now, the people that ask you for money, they ask the money for those people, but they are in betweens. Because remember, it's a transactional government. We have had the car, the car power, the one they were supplying Nawe. We have had people with private jets landed at the airport and then be driven to the State House to negotiate and sign contracts. We have right now talked about these feeder roads that Her Excellency was talking about. Have you ever seen a tender been called? Have they gone through the process of actually tendering and having bids from different qualified bidders? And through that process, the contract be awarded? So these are transactional governments where you go and give pledge or give money so that you will get contracts. Now, someone who is bringing investment has no need for you to help them because you're the one who needs that project. And you, in turn, put conditions that, hey, we need to give a brand envelope to the State House, someone who is the head of the state, or we need to give a brand envelope to the minister. This is what's been happening. When it comes to the time of naming names and putting evidence forward,
we don't need
we
to
have
name
that.
names. What he has already done that. I've went through the same
We
process.
have
It's,
so
it's
many
a,
of it.
it's a norm. Do we have any other questions? We don't need names.
We have